Where's the light at the end of my tunnel? Here it is, my friend. I am going to share with you 4 key steps you need if you are living in any of the forms of hidden abuse. Hey, I'm Valerie, and this is Validated. We've laid out what I call the endless carousel, a cycle and a pattern of hidden abuse behaviors. We've got power and control at the center that spins this thing. We've got the build-up, the blow-up, the spin cycle, and we've got the piece put on. That's great information, but where's the light at the end of my tunnel? If you find yourself on the endless carousel, 4 key steps you need to implement and put in your life. What I will tell you is I wish there was a quick, easy fix for these situations, but we're dealing with some very complex issues and complex relationships. Though these are not necessarily all easy, I believe all 4 of them are critical to your mental and emotional health. This is not a one-size-fits-all because you're a person with a history and the person that you are with has their history. It's not as easy as just saying, here's 4 easy steps, do this, and it will always work this way. There is nuance to it, and you know the person, and so you have to gauge what you can and can't do and how you're going to go about it. These are some areas that I believe could be very helpful in you exiting off the endless carousel. I want you to know I personally understand how hard it is to get off this carousel ride. I feel like I spent so many years on it thinking I just need to change me more. It's probably really my fault anyways. They're going to see how hurtful this is and recognize that and stop. I had thoughts of, I can't get off this ride. There's no exit off this ride. I'm afraid to get off this ride. What's that going to mean? So I want you to know I understand all of those feelings. I can tell you, even though it was hard, scary, and it took me a long time to make that decision, as I began to really see what was going on, I grew in my strength and my resolve to allow God to show me what to do when, to read books, research on the internet what I thought I might be dealing with, and what would be the best way for me to be a healthy person emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically for that matter. When I started recognizing I need to make some changes for my own well-being, it gave me the strength to face some things and to start putting some plans in place. Here's the 4 things that I started implementing into my life. Key number 1 is to recognize and acknowledge the behaviors you're living in fit the endless carousel. It's like coming to terms with your reality. When you do that, you're less likely to live in denial, and you're also less likely to blame yourself for everything going on. Acknowledging what's really going on and that you are living on this endless carousel and its toxic, destructive behavior is the first step to getting off the carousel. Key number 2 is developing a safety plan. Even if you look and say, this isn't outright physical abuse. I understand that. It's just as important to develop a safety plan if you are living in any of the forms of hidden abuse that we've talked about in previous episodes. You should have a safety plan if you need to temporarily leave or permanently leave. And I would strongly encourage you to watch my episode, If I Don't Have Bruises, Is It Abuse? Some of you may be shrugging this off. Please don't. If you've watched this far, I want to encourage you. Having a safety plan in place does not mean that you have to use it. It just means you're prepared to use it if you need to. And wouldn't you rather have that if you need it than to be unprepared when you need it the most? If you have children living at home, they're part of that safety plan. And so you're looking at more than yourself. You're looking at how these dynamics in your home are affecting your children. If someone who has had power and control over you is feeling like they're losing some of that power and control, they become less predictable. Even in the behaviors you've known and you've seen in the past, that becomes less predictable when they start feeling like they're losing that. Things can intensify. I'm not saying they will, but they can if they feel like they're losing the power that they had over you. They may try to gain back the power and control that they feel like they've lost, and some will try to gain more. So things could become a little more intense because they're like, well, I got to make sure they know that they can never do that again. It's important to have some things in place. Think of it as your bug out bag. If there was an earthquake, tornado, being prepared if it happens is better than trying to figure it out in the midst of chaos and a catastrophe. It's better to just be prepared. I pray that never happens for you, but this is something to take seriously and soberly. This is about empowerment, not fear. We're not talking about these things to fill ourselves with fear. We are talking about these things to empower ourselves, to prepare ourselves, and knowledge is power. Key number 3, build a support network. I cannot emphasize this enough. Do it now. Don't wait. You need people around you that will speak life to you, that will encourage you, that will validate what you're living in, what you're walking through, and that will hold you accountable to not allowing somebody to treat you in highly toxic, dysfunctional, destructive ways. That support network will probably look like trusted family members, trusted friends, perhaps pastoral counsel or help from your church, or an organization that helps women that find themselves in these situations. Putting together a support network is one of the most important things that you can do. So no matter what your journey looks like going forward, you have people who will keep you from being isolated and will help you, like just in practical ways, help you during this season of your life. Number 4, seek professional help and possibly legal assistance. Professional help, what I'm talking about is a great Christian therapist or Christian counselor, somebody that you can talk to and gain understanding of what you're living in and how you can cope and best handle the situation that you're presently living in. A good Christian therapist is so highly valuable and can be a really firm anchoring point during a really hard season. I had gone to one counselor. I didn't feel the connection. The things that she was saying, it felt like she was seeing my situation through her own situational lens. I realized that probably wasn't my person. I ended up finding another gal who she would pray with me during our sessions. She would stop while we were talking and she would say, I believe the Holy Spirit is wanting us to stop and pray. Can we just pray for a few minutes? And then she would lead the conversation and steer it from there. And she gave me such good advice. It was so highly valuable. So finding a good counselor can be a huge weightlifter for you. If your funds are limited, I understand there are times where it's like, I don't have access to funds to get counseling. And if you don't have insurance that covers it, that can be really problematic. I would encourage you, if you've reached out to a counselor that you want to try, tell them, let them know, I don't have insurance that covers this. Do you have a sliding scale? What is the best you can do price-wise? You would be surprised at how accommodating many therapists and counselors are. They got into this field because they want to help people. So don't let that be a deterrent. Ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And then also seek legal assistance if you need to. This doesn't mean you're filing for a divorce. It might mean that you are just trying to get information so that you can understand, what are my legal rights if I need to file for a temporary separation, so that my husband can determine if he's going to get some help and hopefully reconciliation. If you talk to an attorney that deals in family law, you can find out what your legal rights are. It might put your mind at ease on some things. Many times attorneys give you a free 15-minute phone call, but you want to be prepared that if you need to talk to an attorney, that you've done a little bit of legwork to find out who would be somebody that you would want to help you. When I was in this situation, I talked with several before I determined who I was going to have be my legal counsel. So why are these 4 keys so important? Why is it so important you recognize and acknowledge what's going on, develop a safety plan, build a support network, seek professional help, and potentially legal advice? You guys, they absolutely disrupt the endless carousel. It's going around and around. It's like, it stops it. It shifts power back to you. You are now able to take action, to do some things that empower you for your direction and where you're going. You get to choose whether you stay on that endless carousel or whether you're going to step off and start moving in a straight linear line forward into your pathway of wholeness and healing. They're steps that move you off the endless carousel and onto this pathway to health and healing. The Endless Carousel has you going in circles. The 4 keys have you going straight forward on a pathway towards a desirable future and a good place for you health-wise. I want to share a super important resource. If you are in danger and you need immediate help, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They are available 24/7 to provide confidential help. You can also go to their website, which is thehotline.org, for safety planning resource tools, live chat. They've actually got a lot of resources if you are in crisis. But please note that there will be a security alert that will come up as soon as you log on to their page. And it states that the internet usage can be monitored and to call instead if you suspect you are being monitored. All right, brave one, you don't have to hold all of this information in your head. You're going to find in my show notes that there are links to these documents that you can download for free. I've created a 4-step exit strategy checklist, as well as the Endless Carousel with the diagram so you can see that. This gives you a confidential, easy to read format so that you can keep safe and refer to it when you need it. If this episode gave you even one moment of clarity, would you take a moment and subscribe and leave a comment below? It helps to get this information into the hands of someone who needs it most. Share this episode with any friends you have that might be walking through similar difficulties. Our next episode, right up here, or it will be shortly, is why you need a safety plan for hidden abuse. One of the most important things of all. Check out my next episode for details. Don't miss it, and share it with someone you know that needs it as well. Until next time, be brave.
Just a reminder, I'm not a licensed therapist or medical professional. This podcast shares my personal experiences and perspectives for educational support, not professional advice. Identifying details have been changed for privacy. If you need help, contact a licensed mental health professional, trusted support, or crisis hotline. Full disclaimer is in the description.